Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would sit down and do yet another video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. A beautiful radio voice going. Let's talk. All right. Again, I'm going to retract something I said many years ago based upon my own real world experience as a lifter and as a coach. And again, this is why when someone comes over and they try to give criticism or give me advice, I'm like, how long have you been doing this? What is your experience? Let's see what you can do, because quite frankly, I am still learning past the 20-year mark. So if someone's only been working out 5 years, you guys can see why I'd be like, you probably don't know anything. I didn't. So, and it's no offense intended, but this is a perfect example. All right. I, number one, did a lot of closed grip benching most of my training career, okay? Because I always felt uncomfortable with wide grip benching. And there were times when I got decently strong at it in my 20s. It always felt uncomfortable in my chest. You know why? Because it made my chest hurt. And I stuck to a lot of closed grip work. And because I did so much closed grip work, I tended to be pretty strong at it, you know, relative to wider grip. And then as I got further along, I got sick, had to quit training, came back to training and got on YouTube. There were multiple coaches and people out there who were well respected who were saying, no, just stick to closer grip, right? And I followed suit. What do we hear? Athlete X was saying, 15 years ago, well, maybe not, like 12, 13, whatever. Oh yeah, that a closer grip, it puts more range of motion on the pectoral, which is objectively false. But I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I kind of see maybe what he's saying because of, again, the range of motion of the bar, but that's not range of motion of the muscle or the joint per se. Then I had Jim Wendler. Oh, you know, it just leads to shoulder issues. Just bench inside the rings all the time. Keep it in. Like medium grip to closed grip. You'll be better off for it. Okay. So on and so forth. For years I closed grip, and what happened? Everyone was like, your bench sucks. Your bench sucks, Jason. Your squat and deadlift are great, because I was squatting well up into the 500s. Deadlifting 600 plus. But how often when I was in those numbers did you guys still see me sometimes hitting 315, 330 benches? Eventually, for a little while, I got my closer grip to 350, right? I did all that, and I avoided it and did a little bit of work, but sometimes I would do, you know, some of my McDonald bar work to get a deeper stretch for higher reps. And that felt pretty good in my chest. And then finally, I just kind of said, you know what? I've got to stop this close grip stuff, and I'm just going to hammer my wider grip. And my wider grip isn't that wide, is it? It really isn't. My wider grip was pinkies on the rings. Lo and behold, what happens? I get up to where you guys see me bench 315 for 8. Now, even when I managed to hit some big close grip benches, I couldn't do 5+ reps with 315 close grip. I did 335 for 5, all paused with this wider grip, and then I've hit a 2-second pause on my chest with flat heels. Because I'd hit like a 365, like touch and go, with closed grip for a little while when I was at my heaviest body weight. Keep in mind, this long pause was done at a lighter body weight with a wider grip. And I felt like it looked prettier. Okay? All of a sudden, my chest is growing. My chest looks better. Do you guys see where we're going with this? And I didn't have shoulder problems from it, because guess what? It didn't save my shoulders. I got overuse issues in my shoulders due to certain mobility issues, and then overuse, where overhead pressing bothered it, all this other stuff. None of that protected my shoulders. I still got impingements despite only close grip benching. Now my shoulders don't hurt at all. I have better mobility in all of it now, but a lot of it was my pecs were tight, and that's still a big issue. My pectorals are really tight, but how much of it is because I was not stretching them with wide grip benching and wide grip incline benching? I wasn't. So still to this day, I'm still having to build some of that mobility up. Still to this day, because a lot of the stuff I deal with is my pectorals are really tight. How much of that would have not appeared had I just done wider grip benching? How much stronger would my bench have been had all those years I've been doing just wider grip? And my shoulders are not bothered by doing it. And now what am I doing? I'm going even wider. I was doing this last summer when I hit those numbers, pinkies on rings. Now what am I doing? I'm going outside the rings all the time. So a lot of my sets, even my index finger is on the rings, ring finger, index on the rings. I'm doing flat back benching. Guess what? My chest is bigger. My chest is stronger. My benching is pretty decent. I've noticed the same thing with clients. I've let a lot of clients, especially long arm clients, have that excuse, and they all close grip for a long time, and then what happens? Oh, I don't like the wide grip. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And a lot of them, I can't get them to do it. We do it for a little while. They feel weaker. Oh, their pecs hurt. I don't like that tendon getting sore. And then they don't want to do it. And so then I've either got to let them go back to closed grip or I'm going to lose them as a client. That does happen. I've got a couple like that right now. They know who they are. Then I've had others who I'm like, look, why are we doing this? Like, well, I just thought it'd be better for my shoulder health. I'm like, yeah, but your pecs are weak. Yeah. Your bench isn't where you want it. Yeah. Why don't we just grip wider and build your chest? Because some of them care about their physiques, and then they try it. Like, you're right. I feel night and day difference. My pecs get a lot more pump. My pecs do get sore. And it doesn't seem to be hurting my shoulders. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm going to say with a lot of that. It doesn't help your shoulder health. It's not saving you from shoulder injury to avoid wide grip benching. It didn't help me. All it did was make my benching weaker. And I'm not saying there are not exceptions. There are outliers who have really strong closed grip benches. What percentage of elite powerlifters are they? Again, the guys at the world level, there's a handful who have closer grip benches, absolutely. But they're so rare that you can go down the road naming them. And it doesn't matter if they've been in that top tier, because some of them have. How many other guys are in those same tiers who have a wide grip? How many of the guys who've benched over 600 or at least pinkies on the rings or wider? Raw, the majority. There's a handful who are closer grip. I mean, including Julius Maddox and more of a medium grip. But most of them are wider grip. Same thing with bodybuilders who have really big pecs from benching. The guys with amazing chests, are they all usually close? If they use a bench as a primary and the incline with a barbell, are they all close gripping? No, they're wide grip. Go back historically, all those guys from the 70s and 80s who had amazing chests in bodybuilding. Did you see any of their benching? They were wide grip benchers, most of them. I was wrong. I had my own biases with my own training, and I listened to other coaches who had those same biases, and accordingly, my information was not the best that it could have been. So I want to change that statement and make sure that people know that I admit I was incorrect due to my own personal bias because of my earlier training years, over 20 years ago, combined with listening to a couple other coaches, and it made me not put out the best information. I've realized my long arms don't matter, and had I just benched wider, I would have had a much bigger bench many years ago, okay? And I would have had a better chest. Same thing for a lot of my clients. And the same thing I'm going to tell my audience. Go ahead and bench wide. It'll be fine. You can bench wide. I'm not saying you can't do any closed grip work, but understand where the place is for it. By and large, you are going to build a bigger chest, number one. Number two, most of you, not everyone, the majority of you are going to have more potential for a stronger bench with a wider grip due to more pectoral involvement, more pectoral development, okay, and potentially, in some cases, a reduced overall range of motion, even though the pec stretch might be deeper. But if we're benching a lot of flat back stuff, the training is still going to get the deep, deep, deep stretch. It's going to make your pecs bigger. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.